Hey, it's Disney Homestead. How the heck are you today? Uh, I had to make a quick video. I'm doing some videos today anyway, and I had to add this one. I had stopped to take lunch, and I thought, well, I'll watch a couple things out on YouTube while I had the lunch. I stumbled across this video and came up on the homepage of Amy Horowitz's, and I've never really followed him, so I thought, no, I'll take a look, you know. And he was on college campus talking about some of the things that at this particular college that the black children had been pressing, you know, for separate dormitories and separate gyms and, you know, study spaces separate and a lot of things like that.
Would you support segregated housing for black people?
I think a lot of schools have interest housing where black students can and students of color can live together.
Separate from white people?
Yeah, that's a normal thing at most campuses, I think.
And you guys are cool with that?
Yeah.
It comes from the school saying we're now going to offer black students separate housing.
Yeah, I would support it. I don't see a problem with that.
Okay, yeah. No, I would be supportive of it. Why not?
I want to be living with people like me. It wouldn't change anything for me because, as you can see, I'm a white person. But if they would be happy
I couldn't tell. Would you support black students having their own separate graduation?
I'm sure if that's what they wanted.
So you'd be okay with that?
Yes.
Separate graduation?
Yeah, I definitely would.
Absolutely. Absolutely, they should have it.
What about kind of black safe spaces?
Yeah, I'm for that.
So have your own space where the black people kind of separate from the white people?
Man, I'll tell you what, they'd be throwing stones at me as being a racist and yada yada yada. But this is the kind of nonsense that they're talking about. And don't get me wrong, personal opinion. Blacks are human beings just like whites are. Blacks are Americans just like the whites are. Blacks have their civil rights and their constitutional rights. Everybody should be treated the same. That's my personal belief.
Wow.
Just several blocks away from the campus bubble in the local black community, the opinions on this issue were unanimous.
Wow, are you going back in time? Why are you separating? We're all together.
Well, I don't understand the logic there. I feel like that's basically segregation. We should all graduate together.
I feel that that's segregation and that shouldn't be happening.
It's obviously terrible to separate people by race.
Discrimination might not be the ultimate goal, but people take it that way.
Do you think it's almost racist to do that?
I would think.
It's all about social skills, and if you can't converse with people who are not of the same skin color than you, then there's no reason for you to be social at all.
Separating people by race at the gym, I don't even understand that. What?
It's like white people don't get their feelings hurt when they get dunked on?
You have all the opportunities that anyone else has, and you can fail like everybody else too. All right, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that the outcome's guaranteed. It's not. It's just not. There are people that are extremely successful in this country, and there's a lot that are not. But at least you should have every opportunity. And I find it hilarious that when it comes to education and so forth, the Republican Party has for years been pushing, giving out vouchers, things of this nature, where people who are in a poorer school, but that are in the school or the city school system really sucks, and they want their children to have a decent opportunity. Why can't the parent file for that money and take that money and put the child in a magnet school or a private school or whatever they want? I was really shocked when Barack Obama came into office, put his kids in private school, and immediately slapped down and went after the magnet school system. Excuse me? Oh, you know that the D.C. school district's not good enough for your children, but the rest of you just have to put up with it. I really thought the blacks were going to go up in arms on that, and they didn't. The school voucher thing needs to happen. The teachers' unions have been playing games with this for years. It's time that we put our foot down and say no. If you are failing the students and not providing an adequate education, and these kids can get a better education in a different school system, in a magnet school or a private school, the parents should have the ability, it's their tax money to start with. Give it back to them. Give them a voucher that they can take and move that child into a decent school so that they have opportunity. Now here's the real tush kicker, kids. If you think about it for 30 seconds. It is pretty much a democratic thing with the teachers union. And for years, they have been protecting the teachers unions. Because heavens, you know, in these poor districts, if these people started pulling their kids out, guess what? You're going to have unemployed teachers. Because you don't need that many if you don't have that many in a classroom. That's what it boils down to. Is the union and the Democrats have been in bed for so long that they're willing to sell out children's education to keep that money and that support coming from these unions. They've done it for years, and even a good Democrat has to sit back and go, yeah, it's really how it works. For any race, white, black, Native American, Asian, whatever, a good education, we should be providing our children with the best educations possible. Instead, we're providing them with a bunch of garbage. Just not right. Now, here in this state, we kicked out the Common Core and all that kind of nonsense. Basically because the teachers stood up and said, what? I'm not teaching this to the kid. They don't want them to be stupid. Pretty much. They were going to bring everybody's educational system down to the lowest denominator, and that way, problem solved, right? Yeah, we can't have good schools and bad schools. We'll all make them bad schools, and then, you know, what do you got to choose from? That's, again, came out of Democrats. Seriously, when you go wake up. It's sad, and we need to fix this. Give a kid an education, and they'll learn to succeed. Keep them out of a good education, they're going to fail. It's time we quit playing with the educational system. If the local school district is not doing the job, get rid of it. Seriously. Give the parents vouchers. And Democrats say, wow, parents really don't care. In the D.C. area and L.A. and stuff, these parents want those vouchers. They want their kids to have educations. They know that that's what leads to success. But Democrats don't want you successful, now do they? Because it seems like when you start becoming successful, you back away from them. Unless you can move far enough up the ladder to where you become one of the upper percentage groups, and then you go back to the Democrats. Of course, now they're running out of Dodge. New York City, Minneapolis, and so forth, these cities are going to feel the wrath pretty soon of their people are just leaving. Don't protect people, leave an unsafe environment, and they're out. Okay? They're out. So the only people that are going to still be behind are those that are trapped and can't get out. Amy Horowitz video, like I said, I'll put a link to in the description. It's like, wow. I wasn't wrong when I said they went so far left, they're coming back around, circling back around on the alt-right. Pretty soon they can be, linking arms with the KKK and singing Kumbaya. Because their thinking is the same. They're beginning to think the same. Segregation's okay.
These students are not the only people on board with this type of racial segregation.
Hey, I'm Chris Barker. I'm Imperial Wizard for the Loyal White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
Chris and his wife have their own safe space here in North Carolina, where he could be away from all those people who engage in microaggressions. But Chris is really a macroaggression kind of guy. Chris was arrested for stabbing another Klan leader over an argument about who was the most racist. There's this thing going on university campuses where they're trying to separate black people from white people in gyms, in graduations, and housing. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a good thing, and I think it's in people's nature. I mean, it's in everybody's nature to be with their own kind. People are tribal, and we want to be amongst our own selves, and I mean, we're still a segregated nation regardless, and it's always going to be that way.
Are you glad that the left has kind of come around to your point of view?
It would be a good thing if the left continues that.
The only difference is right now the progressive left thinks it's okay if they volunteer, if the African American community, and I really hate that term, Black Americans, if they want to do it to themselves, that's okay. Now the KKK would rather have the chutzpah to get it done whether they like it or not. KKK, matter of fact, it wasn't until these kids hit the streets way back when in 2016, that these guys even had a voice in this country anymore. Nobody paid any attention to them. David Duke and his ilk was nothing more than a joke. Nobody bought into that. You know, maybe a few hillbillies that had enough moonshine poured down their throat that their brain got pickled. Matter of fact, in most areas I've ran into, KKK really doesn't have any real power. They don't. Let me tell you something. They showed up at one of my neighbors with white hoods on and so forth. I'd be out the door with guns. And I'd help the neighbor run them off. People don't play that anymore. Okay? You judge people. Martin Luther King said. You judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I love you guys and appreciate you, but I really felt a lot of humor in that. And like I said, watch the video. It is pretty funny. When you start realizing these kids that think they're so woke don't even remember what this country was like in the 50s. Now that's how little history they know. We're talking 70 years ago. And already they've hid the history from them. I'll tell you what, if the Democrats finally collapse, and I really think they know they're headed for the scrap heap of history, we got a lot of history to restore, and I think probably we ought to make kids go back out that have got college degrees and make them take refresher courses, history that you were not told. This is Rich Tessie Homestead. Hope you guys are having a great day. Do watch the video. You may find nothing else like I did. I found humor in it of just the different groups. And college kids are just, I'm sorry kids, but you're dumb. You've been lied to and jerked around. You're dumb. Need to fix that. And my great-grandmother always laughed about that and said, yeah, it's pretty true. Don't let your schooling interfere with your education. I listen to what they have to say. But just because you pass the class, go out and find out the real truth. And you'll find that you'll learn that you're having a lot of sunshine blowing up your tush in those universities. They are not places of higher education. What they are is trying to brainwash you into thinking that the segregation and racism from 70, 80 years ago is what's going to make you cool. This is Rich, Tennessee Homestead. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day.